Thank Plans to the operation of a business. Third, by the introduction of material-saving devices or ideas in the way of substitution or elimination. For instance, the inventor of wireless technology eliminated wires. The railroad builder saves material by eliminating curves. It is fourth, by the manufacture of a better or more durable article. If a process is discovered whereby an article is made to endure longer than one, it supplants, displaying that an economic benefit to the purchaser results. Fifth, by the introduction of processes and methods of treating land, or by the specific selection of crops to render it more productive. It is apparent that if land is made to yield a greater return, it is equivalent to increasing the quantity of land. Sixth, increasing the efficiency of laborer. This does not apply to labor-saving machinery, but by increasing efficiency, the efficiency of the laborer. This does not apply to labor-saving machinery, but to the methods adopted by manufacturers or businessmen to increase the output per man by intelligent handling. The method is included in the scientific management and efficiency methods of Frederick W. Taylor, Harrington, Emerson, and others. Seventh, by the practical annihilation of time and space. Time is money in the sense that it is one of the essential elements in the economic life. In fact, wages are based upon time. Of course, the annihilation of space is equivalent to the annihilation of time. If by rapid communication or transportation space is practically eliminated, it means the saving of time. It will readily be considered that this method of facilitating the creation of wealth is one of the most powerful and effective of all commercial processes and appliances. Some of the great time and space annihilators are the telegraph, telephone, railroads, steamships, airships, pneumatic tubes, motors, pipelines, and methods of signaling. Eighth, by the elimination of waste or disease in the conduct of an enterprise. Ninth, by advertising, promoting open markets. It is wealth in its subjective phase. It's embodied in a desire or need. Objectively, it is a satisfaction of that desire or need. Therefore, if an entrepreneur, by the clever setting forth of the advantages of a given commodity, creates a state of mind in the reader, which later becomes an overmastering desire to purchase, he has thereby created wealth. Tenth, by the eradication of diseases in man and in the animal and vegetable kingdoms. Considered from an economic point of view, man may be classified as machine if by the introduction of sanitary methods of hygiene or hygienic methods, the health of employees of a factory is enhanced, enabling them to turn out a greater quantity and quality of work. Such methods must be considered wealth-producing, but it will be granted without argument that curative or alleviating processes applied to a trump do not constitute economic acts. 11th, by the melioration of economic environments, as for example by the passage of favorable laws, introduction of transportation facilities and the like. Allied to the conservation of health is the introduction of means to make life more pleasant to the employee. Many large firms have installed rest and recreation rooms for their workmen, while others have introduced entertainments of various kinds. These employees recognize that health and goodwill in the laborers are what lubrication and scientific argument are to the machinery. However, the twilight zone between wealth and non-wealth is here reached. The methods are wealth-producing, otherwise depending on, of course, upon the actual factors in an economic way. Primarily, there are three ways in which the average man can be benefited. First, the idle may be given employment. Second, the employed may be guaranteed an increase in wages. Third, the cost of necessities, more or less useful, may be reduced. It follows that any idea, discovery, invention, or enterprise which accomplishes any of the three desiderants in an economic boom and a form of creative wealth. It does not matter whether we can trace these various benefits throughout their ramifications to the ultimate beneficiaries or state the exact value of them in dollars and cents. Okay. Perhaps a more logical classification of expression forms or efficiency methods, depending upon whether they are considered subjectively or objectively, would be in reference to the units or factors of production which will be designated as labor, material, land, and time. Material includes all forms of capital, buildings, stock, and output. In addition to these factors, the operation of an enterprise as a whole must be taken into consideration, illustrative of the manner in which mind can affect or influence the several factors of production. There are three things which can be done to labor. The first unit under our classification, we can save labor through labor-saving devices and plans. We can augment labor through the modern as well as long-established efficiency methods, and we can cure labor of ills or remove deleterious environments or influences. Similar methods can be applied to the other factors of production, although expectations must be made in a few cases. For example, we can save time, but we can not augment or cure it. But we can cure material. As for instance, if a knife becomes dull, it can be sharpened. Or if machinery becomes disordered or sick, it can be adjusted. As applied to the operation of a plant, all of the efficiency methods may be used with exception or saving, and in addition to other efficiency methods may be applied, namely the manufacture of a better article under melioration of economic environments. All of these different methods will be fully illustrated and elaborated in the succeeding chapters. We find then that there are 15 efficiency methods which may be applied to industrial or economic life as follows. First, creation, discovery or invention, the initial vision, plan, perception, or undercovering of a project, thing, or a device to be exploited. Second, labor-saving devices and plans, co-create or abstract. Third, material-saving devices and plans, elimination or subtraction. Fourth, land-saving devices, reclamation by irrigation, drainage, reforestation, etc. Of course, there is no substitute for land in any real sense. Fifth, time-saving devices and plans. Sixth, labor augmenting devices and plans by the so-called efficiency methods, elimination of useless motions, etc. is distinguished from labor-saving devices in that they speed up the work without reference to machinery. Seventh, material augmenting devices and plans, method of speeding up machinery, more scientific arrangement and handling of factory equipment, including office fixtures. This also includes methods of increasing the value of quantity of products in their manufacture or production. Eighth, land augmenting devices and plans, methods of increasing productivity or value of land. Ninth, eradication of diseases or other deleterious influences in the laborer. 10th, eradication of diseases or other deleterious influences in land and land products. 11th, eradication of deleterious influences in material maladjustment, war, but repairable conditions. 12. Elimination of waste disease in the operation, obstructions, internal and external bad methods of conducting business, friction, etc. 13th, advertising or promotion, augmenting of business through various methods. 14. Manufacture or production of a more desirable service or attractive article. 15th, amelioration of economic environments. This method applies particularly, although not wholly, to the governmental legislation affecting economic conditions. It will be observed that the last four methods apply exclusively to the operation of a plant or enterprise. Some may confuse one or more of the preceding methods with the latter, but all doubts can be removed by asking the question: does the result obtained affect a factor of operation alone or a general policy of management? For example, it may be asked, what is the distinction between the 7th efficiency method, material augmenting, and the 14th, manufacture of a better article? The answer is that the first, in addition to other things, increases the value or quantity of a product instantly or in isolated instances, while the latter is the outgrowth of a general policy to manufacture or sell the best article possible in order to please and benefit the customers. Subjectively, it may augment business, thus increase profits, or it may result otherwise. Essentially, it's a method of business promotion. For it is one of the most effective ways to increase sales, and it would be more logical to classify it under advertising or promotion than other material augmenting. It constitutes such an important element of economic production that it was thought best to give as a separate classification. Then are the expressionists or exponents of efficiency methods, and in what manner do they promote economic life? A complete list would perhaps comprise all working classes, the non-workers, those who will not work, those who are unable to find work, and those who are unable to find work only promote economic life in a negative way. That is, they belong to the great consuming class. An attempt will be made in this chapter to enumerate the principal classes of pure expressionists or intellectual workers, and to determine by reference to the analysis in the preceding chapter how they enhance the economic life of a country or the world. A gentleman, scholarly and resourcefully, was compelled to leave his home in the east and migrate westwardly for his health. He had previously taken a trip through the west, and while there, having an intimate knowledge of geology, made a study of the rock formations in one particular locality in which he was interested because of the extreme fertility of the soil. The land, however, which consisted of a barren tract of several thousand acres, was sans echias, sans flora, and sans fauna. All attempts to irrigate it had failed. The prospector believed from his geological researches that water could be found if a well were sunk at a certain place at a certain depth. He accordingly employed a well driller with unshaken faith that water would be struck in sufficient quantities to irrigate the tract of land. The well was sunk, and low water gushed forth from the shaft in great volume. Here then we have an illustration of creation or discovery. Expression form number 1. The very instant his faith became fact, great possibilities in agriculture were opened up. He had a vision and made it come true, regardless of the obstacles. Our progressive farmer began at once to construct flumes and dig ditches for irrigation purposes, having nothing but picks and shovels for excavating. He found the work progressing very slowly. He had a plow but no horse. Learning of a drove of wild horses in the neighboring mountains, he enlisted the services of cowboys in another section to capture some of the horses. This was accomplished after considerable difficulty. He attached the horses to his plow, which superseded picks and shovels as a mode of excavation for the trenches. This was efficiency method number 2, labor saving. This worked all right for a time, but he finally struck some very hard ground interspersed with rock, with some giant powder which he had brought with him. He proceeded to blast out trenches in the collacious places along the lines he had mapped out. This was the efficiency method number 3. Number three, first. Okay, first, by substituting a more effective excavating instrument, and second, by going through instead of around. The rocky places he saved the material of which the flumes were to be constructed. After completing the irrigation system, our progressive farmer turned on the water, resulting in a perfect realization of his dream. This constituted efficiency method number 4, labor saving, land saving, reclamation. Having a large acreage, he found it necessary to employ a great many men to prepare the ground for planting, to expedite communication between the foreman and subordinates. A telephone system was installed on the ranch. This was the efficiency method number 5, time saving. Finding that the labor of men was not as productive as he had reasons to believe it ought to be, and having read Taylor's and Emerson's treatise on eliminating useless motions embodied in scientific management, he applied the theories to his force of men, with the result that all became much more efficient. This was the efficiency method number 6, labor augmenting. One of the principal products raised was the sugar beet, and having become dissatisfied with the quantity of sugar produced, and having learned that the Germans had discovered a chemical process whereby the quantity of sugar extracted from the vegetable was greatly increased, he applied the process with the result of materially augmenting his production of sugar. This, of course, was efficiency method number 7, material augmenting. Upon analysis, he discovered that some of the soil on his farm was wanting in nitrogen. He thereupon erected an electric plant to extract nitric acid from the air by newly discovered electric process, and thereby realized the efficiency method number 8, land augmenting device. About this time, an epidemic of severe nature became prevalent among his employees. He minimized the virulence of the disease by administration of vaccine serum. This was efficiency method number 9, eradication of diseases in the laborer. His crop of growing potatoes was besieged by the Colorado bug. He ordered his men to sprinkle Paris green on the plants, thus destroying the insects. This was the efficiency method number 10, eradication of deleterious influences in land products. In harvesting his wheat, he discovered that he had failed to secure a grindstone with which to sharpen his sickles and knives. He found a stone on his farm suitable quantity, and from it a grindstone was improvised. This was the efficiency method number 11, the eradication of deleterious influences in material. A tribe of Indians came down from the mountains and made a raid on his growing crops, carrying away and destroying a large quantity and threatening to destroy the buildings and orchards. Our scientific farmers stole out to their tent in the night and with a charge of giant power blew up the camp. This was efficiency method number 12, elimination of friction in operation, or rather external obstruction. Later on, the products of the farm he had increased to such a degree that it was difficult to find a market for them. By advertising in the newspapers. Number 13, the superiority of his products, some of which he had been perfected through Babank's methods. Number 14, he found no difficulty in disposing of them at good prices. In the meantime, though his agitation and governmental aid, capitalists had constructed a railroad through his tract of land, which constituted efficiency method number 15, amelioration of economic environment. The precise function of the lawyer in the industrial world has been a source of considerable worry to the author, as he has a number of valued friends in the class. It would be admitted a person does not employ an attorney for the fun of it. His economic value therefore lies outside the hedonistic or aesthetic circle. And what then does his economic worth consist? Of the 15 ways enumerated by which mind assists in producing wealth, all were readily cast aside as inapplicable, with one exception. This was number 12, or elimination of waste in production. Herein lay the answer. But how does an attorney eliminate waste by removing friction? Friction is a term that may be applied to the machinery of a plant, or in the rubbing of parts together, or to the relations proprietarial or managerial in its everyday operation. If friction, disputes, or controversies arise between businessmen involving legal cases, it becomes necessary to employ legal experts to remove the friction in order that there be no economic waste. It should be remembered that many attorneys are chosen to represent the people in legislatures and Congress and thereby render economic service in a more general way. In fact, it is in this manner that they contribute more largely to the real science of political economy. The passage of tariff or currency bill, for example, directly affects the status of industries of nation and indirectly the entire population of that country. This service would fall under efficiency head number 15, amelioration of economic conditions, having found a honorable niche for the disciples of law in the economic superstructure. The placing of other professions, trades, and pursuits ought to be easy. The function of the physician naturally falls under the niche. The ninth efficiency method, eradication of diseases and removal of deleterious influences of a containing nature. As we have seen, man may be classified as a machine, and if he breaks down, to mend him is plainly an economic function. Physicians, bacteriologists, and scientists render valuable services in laboratory contagions and in the compounding of medicines that will cure and in the preparation of serums that will render persons immune from attack. In Panama, a gas had to a go gas had to conquer the mosquito before a goat has could a goat half could conquer Chulebra. But what about the preacher? Someone may ask, surely he cannot be classified as wealth producer. Why not? The function of the minister is akin to that of the physician. The latter eradication diseases of the body, while the former are administers to alignments of the soil. Shall the man who instills into youth the moralities be considered of no economic value? Then again, the minister must be considered an economic factor because satisfies a desire or need. Religion to the average person is a necessity and affords greater happiness and consolation than all the arts, sciences, and economics is. The preacher builds character, the very cornerstone of all economic superstructures. The minister then also comes under the head of the efficiency method number 9, and treats physical and other influences of deleterious nature affecting the laborer. The teacher, from an economic point of view, indirectly and in a great many instances directly, plays a stupendous part in the general enhancement of industrial and commercial life. Included in this classification are instructors in physical and manual training. It can readily be seen how vocational training, which is becoming more and more in vogue with passing years, leads to more direct results in efficiency methods. The teacher combines the functions of the preacher to a certain extent with the scientific manager. He inculcates principles of self-reliance and mainly virtue, and educates and trains the youth in practical branches of learning. The teacher also, through the superior knowledge and culture, should educate his pupils to a broader understanding of the general principles governing economic life and thereby produce a melioration of industrial environments. The efficiency methods of the teacher, therefore, may be classified under the 6th, 9th, 10th, and the 15th divisions, and in specific instances, his teachings may affect any of other method. The musicians, the mere mention of them in connection with business affairs no doubt causes an agitation of the risibilities are also here. It has recently been proven that music has some sort of lubricating effect upon the living machinery. A number of firms have introduced various forms of music in their plants for the benefit of their employees, while one proprietor, according to the reports, went so far as to engage an orchestra to play at stated intervals. At these times, operation of the plant would be suspended and the girls employed would join hands and dance to the musical strains provided by orchestra. It is found that this exercise tend to relax both the mind and the body, and that they are conducive to more friendly relations between the employee and the employer. Then consider generally, who can tell what savage breaths a lead or a party has soothed into calm and peace? The economic function of the music would seem therefore to come under two heads: the sixth and ninth, the augmentation of labor and the removal of deleterious influences. The actors, playwrights, and other exponents of the histrionic art may have a direct influence on the so-called economic activities, except in particular instances. I don't know. Okay. We need to, let's finish up this and we come again. Yeah, the actors, playwrights, and other exponents of the histrionic art may have a direct influence on the so-called economic activities, except in particular instances. Yet the art of the Shakespeare's and all the brilliant train of dramatists has entertained and inspired millions, and no doubt given them a more cheerful outlook on real life in general. But aside from this, out of the art has arisen temples to peace in every civilized land, thereby providing employment for myriads of artisans and artists, as well as employees. Let's come back from here. We need to check on some guys here. Like, I wasn't able, I should not be shouting, by the way, because I'm not the only person in the room, but then I have to be audible. I don't know. That's what it is. That's what it is. Like, I remember the other time my tongue was so heavy it couldn't move, but now it can move, so I have to move it and train it to do more and 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 more, to do more and more and more, to do more and more and more, to do 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 more, to do more and 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 more. A minute. Yeah, good one. Oh, but no. Oh, my God.
I just don't like to be controlled anymore.
You don't like it anymore. Yeah. where we have who and how the playwrights and producers produce a great variety of things: theoretical, drama, tragedies, comedies, problem plays, and those dealing with great moral and societal questions. While the first three classes of histrionic productions may not have any special bearing on race economics, the others do in some degree at least. Great artists touched with divine fire can, in displaying and visualizing phases of life affecting the humanities or social or political problems, imbue their auditors with their love of truth and justice and all that waters and causes to blossom anew the masses and moralities of men. The stage, therefore, is represented in the economic structure under efficiency methods numbers 9, 1, and 15. Creativeness, eradication of deleterious influences, and melioration of environments, with the playwrights and representatives of all the Thespian art may be classed in a general way. All auditors, writers, and orators, all of these classes have a powerful influence for good and sad to relate evil. Knowing their power, they should have care, for it may be that instead of meliorating the conditions under which men struggle through their presentations and discussions, these conditions may have become more insufferable and intolerable. Of course, deductive writers have a wider scope and may deal with any of the 15 methods of efficiency. The psychologists, phrenologists, and psychophysiologists may be grouped together, and as far as their direct influence on economic life is concerned, the term applied technology may be used. Hugo Munsterberg, in his Psychology and Industrial Efficiency, says a new science is developing between modern laboratory psychology and the problems of economics. The objects of the new science are twofold: to analyze the finite economic tasks with reference to the mental qualities which are necessary or desirable for them, and to find methods by which these mental qualities may be tested. The direct application of psychology to industrial life has been made by Harrington, Emerson, W.F. Taylor, and others with remarkable results. Most thoughtfully readers are familiar with their efficiency methods, and the results of their experiments need to be recited here. The space of economics is an interesting one, but it still remains to be determined to what extent it is practicable to introduce these methods in the general economic life, whether it is best to sacrifice or subordinate all the qualities that enter into one's personality for the sake of efficiency is a moot question. The efficiency methods have principally to do with labor augmentation, and therefore are embodied in our sixth efficiency method. Of course, in its broadest application, psychology, or the science of the mind, has a direct or indirect concern with the entire gamut of idealistic production, and it will not be necessary, therefore, to classify the exponents of this branch of science in the economic application. We now come to formative or fine arts, architecture, sculpture, and painting, and their representatives in the architect, sculptor, and artist, it is necessary to deal with this from the practical angle. For the architect, painter, etc. are recognized factors of production as much as the carpenter or the bricklayer. We are only concerned with the aesthetic phase or aspect, and as it has previously been shown that beauty and other similar qualities have an economic value, it will be necessary to elaborate only 1 or 2 points. One can readily understand how, and history confirms the assertion, the development of these formative arts lead to a maze of dynamic structures and groups of architecture wonders. From the arts of the Greeks and the Romans came the Acropolis and the Parthenon and the Pantheon and the marvelous cathedrals of later times. The modern world has its examples in nearly every country: in Paris, Milan, Vienna, St. Petersburg, and in numerous cities in the Americas, North and South. The economic functions of this group will naturally fall under the first and 14th divisions: the creative in its specialized sense, and the making of a better or a more attractive product. Allied to these are the decorative artists, the designers, and the like. These create new designs and models pleasing to the aesthetic taste, and naturally play no small part in industrial life. In addition to embodying efficiency methods number 1 and 14, they also embrace number 13, advertising, namely as window decorators, sign painters, etc. The initial function of the civil engineer is to remove deleterious influences in land. And efficiency method number 10, this deleterious influence consists of an undivided land. That's to say, a condition of conglomerate mass, and it is expedient that experts be called into service whose specialty is land division, to avoid disputes between adjusting property owners. This latter possible condition is embodied in efficiency and method number 12, external obstruction or disease in operation. Civil engineers employed in large industrial and commercial enterprise may employ other expression forms or efficiency methods. In laying out a railroad line, for example, they frequently save labor number 2 and save material number 3 by eliminating curves, tunneling, etc. And industrial pursuits not only show how labor and material can be saved, but also recommend ways of speeding up machinery. Number 7, material augmenting. In addition to these results, in many instances, efficiency method number 5, time saving, is also brought into play. The elimination of a curve, for example, in a railroad not only saves labor and material, but also saves time in the operation of the trains. Efficiency engineers, of which we read so much in these later days, lazy particular emphasis on the speeding up laborers. Efficiency method number 6, they also give expert advice in saving and augmenting material and in eliminating deleterious influences in the material of paint. Meteorologists, whose economic exponents are the members of a weather bureau, perform a very valuable service in preventing waste in land or land products in materials and in labor by predicting storms, tornadoes, and other meteorological disturbances. Ship owners, sailors generally, and agriculturists are enabled to protect in some degree their property from loss. The science has not been perfected as yet, and probably will never be, for the reason that the atmosphere and other elements entering into The causations of weather are very unstable and uncertain quantities. The economic functions of meteorologists may be classified under efficiency method number 9, 10, and 11. Eradication of deleterious influences in labor, land, and material, in the consideration of the fact that prevention of the tantamount to a cure. If a person or a thing is prevented from being destroyed by storm, the existence of that person or thing is paired with, of course, is equivalent to being cured of a fatal alignment or defeat. The physicists, through the investigations into the natural properties and latent force of material things, have laid bare principles and powers, the results of the application of which to industrial life are seen in the world today, from Archimedes to Edison, Marconi, and Röntgen. A numerous galaxy have, by their researches, revealed the hidden forces of nature, all of which have contributed to the development of economic life. All are familiar with the 5 mechanical powers: the lever, pulley, wheel, inclined plane, screw, without which the man-made earth would not move. On top of this were discovered the principles of the statistics and dynamics as applied to liquids and gases, and then came Franklin towing with a kit suspended in the clouds, from which he drew an electric spark that indirectly led to subsequent electro discoveries that have transformed the world. This was followed by the discovery of the vibratory nature of sound, and from that, 2 discoveries have evolved: the wonderful telephone and allied inventions, the phonography and modifications, musical and entertaining. The physicists, by calling to their aid higher mathematics, have computed the strain and stress resistance of various kinds of compression, bending, cross-breaking, twisting of materials used in the art and manufactures, enabling the practical builders to select the best kinds of material in reference to service and economy of their particular work. The physicists also compute the inherent forms of liquids and gases, static and dynamic, by means of which enormous weights are lifted, and boats, railroad trains, and motor vehicles, all of kinds, are propelled swiftly over the earth, through the water, or in the air. The various kinds of powers used include hydraulic and hydrostatic, expansion of steam and other gases, and turbine, water and gas, by the application of the static pressure of gas in the inversion and manufacture of the air brake. The rapid running of railroad trains has been made comparatively safe. By the aid of these forces, mountains are tunneled, rivers spanned, and canals dug, and the desert is made to blossom as the rose. The marvelous things are performed by electricity are of common knowledge. How it eliminates time and space in carrying our messages across land and seas, how it lights and heats our buildings and eliminates our public ways, how it turns the vehicles of manufacture in 1,000 industrial centers and propels cars and all sorts of motor vehicles carrying tremendous loads with perfect ease. All know, if they do not understand, while the physicists did not apply these forces to the work of modern life, yet they revealed and laid bare the tools of industrialism at the feet of the inventors and captains of industry. There are 3 forms of electricity which are used in medicine: static, galvanic, and Faradic. The static form modifies and regulates functional processes including respiration, circulation, nutrition, and secretions. Galvanism is applied to the treatment of many conditions and diseases of the nervous system and is also of the greatest use in the diagnosis of disease. In surgery, it is applied to the destruction of tumors and growth of similar nature. Parodic electricity is used in cases of paralysis, gout, rheumatism, eczema, and hyperchondriacal manifestations. The microscope and its application to photography has been of untold benefit in bacteriological investigations appertaining to both animal and vegetable life. The culture of plants under electric stimulus is a subject of interesting experiment. It has been found that by the application of electric light by the means of arc light or ultraviolet rays, the flowering period of plants is hastened in some instances as much as 10 days, and it is believed that the practical utilization of electric light in horticulture will prove of great service to florists and truck farmers. Electrical chemical processes are employed in extracting metals from their ores and in parting them from their ores, alloys, and in the disposition of certain finer metals upon the surface of baser metals and other materials, and in the manufacture of chemical products employed in the arts. Radium and other radioactive elements recently discovered are destined to play an important part in the surgery and the practice of medicine. The rodent gain rays by revealing hidden lesions, growth, and fractures have already rendered invaluable service to the medical science, and now comes the report from Germany and that mesothorium is a panacea for cancer. This radioactive substance is obtained from thorium waste in the manufacture of gas mantles for therapeutic use. A tiny particle is enclosed in a silver covering piece with minute holes. Recently, it has been asserted with more or less positiveness that radium is curative for some forms of cancer. It will be seen that the physicists cover a wide field in the industrial world and directly or indirectly affects production under the following efficiency heads: first, second, third, fourth, fifth, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th. The activities of the chemists are so varied and widespread that it will be difficult to do them justice in a work of this kind. The chemist, by deep research, discovers and compounds formulas useful in the arts, professions, at agriculture, and manufactures, and the joint work of chemists and bacteriologists have done much toward the alleviation of human ills. Applied chemistry, with which we are more particularly concerned, comprises all the facts and methods of the science that finds practical employment and includes the biological treating of psychological and pathological phenomenon in animals and plants, and with the uses of chemical discoveries in the arts and industrial pursuits. A very interesting and valuable phase of the chemist's activities has been in the direction of discovering new elements, of which there are now known to science upwards of 80, although a few of the more obscure elemental substances are subject to dispute. After exhausting all of their resources in the way of chemical analysis, the scientists brought into play the spectroscope and by means of that wonderful instrument, we are able to draw from out of the depths of space a number of additional elements. Agriculture chemistry deals with problems of the soil, nutrition of plants and animals, the composition of their products, and their value as good. It has laid the foundation of the science of agriculture, leading to the establishment of agriculture stations and schools in the laboratories of which plants and soil are analyzed to determine which elements are needed for their fertilization, and many valuable discoveries have been made along this line. The field covered by this method of analysis not always been strictly chemical. For example, the discovery of fertility properties of leguminous plants covers, clovers, peas, and the like through the ability to appropriate to their use free nitrogen of the air was discovered by German chemists and bacteriologists who also discovered the agency of bacteria in bringing up assimilation of elements needful to plant life. Medical and physiological chemistry plays an important part in the development of general knowledge of bacteriology and infectious diseases. The small organisms which are responsible for the various infectious diseases owe the action in great part to specific chemical poisons which they produce. Antitoxins have been discovered by which immunity can be secured or a remedy provided. As applied to manufactures, chemistry covers an extensive field. There is hardly an article in which has not been treated chemically in some stage of its material. The discoveries of new compounds and processes by analytical and synthetic methods have in a great many instances revolutionized industrial life. For example, coal tar, which was at one time discarded as being of little worth, has been found to be the source of almost an endless variety of compounds of the most antithetical character. From it has been abstracted the most brilliant of colors and the most delicate of perfumes. Also, medicine and antiseptics, gases which propel motor vehicles, and the substances from which the road over which the vehicle runs are made. A partial list of the compounds derived from coal tar include paraffin, naphtha, benzol, creostate, earth-resistant, carbolic acid, naphthalene, pitch, coal tar dyes, and medicine without number. Artificial perfumes, and from it alphabet and preservative compositions for wood and material. In the industrial world of today, synthetic indigo has displayed the indigo secured from the plant. Synthetic camphor that produced by the camphor tree, and the underlying dyes of many hues, the old mother dyes. Many other commercial products are being superseded by better and cheap ones produced in the laboratory of synthetic chemistry. The thermochemistry treats of phenomenon accompanying chemical reactions or transformations. Whether these manifestations are caused partly by chemical changes, they may be due in particular to purely physical changes that frequently accompany chemical reactions. Thermochemistry has accomplished the measurement of heat in various chemical transformations, and the principles of thermodynamics have been successfully applied to the consideration of chemical changes. Thermodynamics is the application of the principles of mechanics to heat phenomena. This branch has been very useful in calculating heat and providing and power forces of solids and liquids, and gases as adapted to industrial life. Metallurgical chemistry is a branch where are we? We are taking up and so you get that's what you get. That's what you get. What you get. That's what you get. That's what you get. Oh God, have mercy on me, Almighty. Have mercy on me, Almighty. That's what you get. Metallurgical chemistry is a branch of metallurgy, which has for its object the preparation of metals from their ore. The operations are partly mechanical and partly chemical. The process of extraction of metals from ore include smelting, amalgamation with mercury, extraction by aqueous compounds with which metals are dissolved by chemical solutions and precipitate and electronic. By the latter method, a material is separated from its impurities by electrolysis. Notable discoveries which have revolutionized industrialism include the basama and open heart processes of making steel and electric furnace. Of the 15 methods enumerated by which mind creates wealth is in economic world, chemistry affects over 1/2, namely the first, third, fourth, fifth, seventh, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th, having found in a tangible way at least a place on the economic stage for some of the more prominent classes of metal workers not directly connected to industrial life. We now come to the last and probably the greatest class, the governmental, embracing its very powerful arms, the administrative, judicial, and legislative. The importance of the function of investors, discoverers, and entrepreneurs demand treatment in separate chapters in as much as they are more directly connected with industrial and commercial processes. It is apparent that the principal function of a government, whether it be national, state, or municipal, is to enhance economic life or to ameliorate its environment. But our life as is the head of the supreme ruler of the universe. But alas, alas, as say of the supreme ruler of the universe, if it has the power to give, it has the power to take away. All are familiar with industrial panics and depressions which have resulted from enactment of all ill-advised legislation. Primarily, of course, the function of a government is to protect its citizens and to see that justice is done between man and man, individuals and corporate bodies, corporations, and between one government and another. The protection of citizens includes the conserving of health and morals, as well as the guiding against illegal encroachments relating to personal or property rights. Aside from the humanitarian point of view, it is essential as a matter of protection that citizens be shielded by law from contamination by immoral and unsanitary agencies. In order that a government might protect its subjects, it's necessary that it is be empowered to enact legislation for the collection of revenue to defray the legitimate expenses of the Commonwealth. This is done by the direct and indirect taxation. While both forms of taxation have an important bearing on economic life, the tariff, a form of indirect taxation over which there is unending dispute, plays by far the greatest part in the industrial world. Legislators of a country have a stupendous task set for them in the consideration of revenue laws, for it is very vital to the interests of the people whether such laws are based upon theories of free trade, tariff for revenue, or protection. But in these days of sharp international competition for commercial supremacy, the functions of a government should not stop at the mere passage of laws and their just and equitable enforcement. It is essential that the government commerce be promoted, and in doing so, the officials of a country, both at home and abroad, should exert their powers to the accomplishment of three desiderata: the encouragement of cordial relations between the home and foreign governments, the careful study of the economic needs of the countries in order that a reciprocal benefit might accrue, and to enhance international commerce, means should be supplied for the rapid and economic transportation of commodities to be exchanged. To this end, it's expedient that merchant marine be established by governmental subvention if necessary. The United States, as well as other countries, has been slow in recognizing the importance of at least two methods of promoting commerce, namely first and the last. For example, there has been too much bluster and ancillary conduct from certain quarters towards our sisters republics of the South. It seems plain too that it is just as important to secure means of transport over great international highways as between state and state. It is futile for our agriculturists and manufacturers to produce goods if there is no way to get them to the ultimate consumer. It is also questionable if one of the proper functions of a nation is not found in the promotion and fostering of industrial life by scientific investigation and research along the lines which Germany has initiated The Delta government has promoted chemical investigation by opening chemical laboratories for experimentation, and her chemistry industry has become the foremost of the world by discovering economical methods of extracting sugar from beets. She has developed an industry in the line which has displayed to a considerate extent the cane sugar of the West Indies. While Germany has done much towards promoting the manufacturers, she has not recognized the necessity of fostering individualism, for which England has set the example. A prerogative of government which has been sometimes overlooked, particularly by municipalities, is that of beautifying and rendering more attractive cities as well as rural districts. The nation has done excellent work in the direction by setting aside scenic sections of the country as national parks. It is important not only from aesthetic but also from an economic standpoint that cities establish elaborate systems of parks connected by boulevards, and to see that public buildings are of pleasing architecture and the streets well paved, well kept, and well lighted. The Constitution grants Congress, with the approval of the President, the following powers for the conserving of peace and promotion of general welfare: to borrow money on the credit of the United States, to raise and support armies, provide and maintain a navy, to grant copyrights and patents, to establish post offices and roads, to constitute tribunals inferior to the Supreme Court, to provide punishment for counterfeiting, etc., to make rules for government and regulation of land and naval forces, to regulate commerce with foreign nations and among several states and with Indian tribes, to coin money and regulate the value thereof, to establish a uniform naturalization laws and laws on the subject of bankruptcy, to define and punish piracies on the high seas and offenses against the laws of nations, to declare war, to lay and collect taxes and duties, imports and excise, to pay debts and to provide for the common defense and general welfare, to provide for the calling forth of the militia, to execute the laws of the Union, supreme insurrection and repel invasion. Greatest constructive forces containing the powers ascribed to Congress are those providing for the establishment of post offices and roads, for the facilitation of commerce, for the coining of money, for the collection of taxes, and for the promotion of general welfare. All of this ameliorate economic conditions by supplying means for interchange of commercial products and messages. Roads are being superseded in a degree by steam and electric railways. It is important that this should be encouraged and aided and at the same time regulated. It is also needful that currency, the blood of the nation, should be kept free from all forms of impurity and instability and rendered elastic and mobile. The President, in addition to other executive duties, has the power, with aid of the Senate, to make treaties with foreign nations. This has a very real bearing on economic life in that it affords a very effective means of promoting cordial relations between nations and for facilitating exchange of commercial products. The President also appoints the various secretaries of the cabinet who assist him in his executive duties. The Secretary of the Interior has charge of public lands, including mines, superintends the issuing of patents to investors, collects statistics and facts showing the condition and progress of education and punishes such information as may assist in the improvement of education throughout the United States. All of these powers, economically considered, are very far-reaching. The Secretary of Agriculture collects information and makes scientific investigations as to the diseases of plants and animals and methods of cultivating and increasing the fertility of the soil. It is readily observed that this department affects economic life to an incalculable extent. If the dissemination of the information at this disposal of the Bureau is effectively done, the Department of Commerce and Labor promotes trade and the conditions of the working man. All of this is very essential, but just why industrial affairs in general should be overlooked. It is not clear, it is not just as needful to promote the manufacturers as agriculture, and it is not reasonable that the government should pick up the skins of the industrial fabric where of necessity the captains of industry are compelled to drop them and help with a more perfect and great product. Other countries do this, notably Germany and Japan, and their great industrial expansion can be attributed in a great measure to this governmental nourishing and care. It is not necessary to dwell upon the functions of the courts and the general police power of a nation. It is the duty to adjust difficulties to prevent friction among the parts of the great economic machine, just as passing reflection for the benefit of those who may still doubt that a government can ameliorate economic environments. What would be the natural result should the local stable government be exchanged for the catch pieces of rule in Mexico? The armies and the navies ameliorate economic contribution first passively by exerting and supplementing great moral pressure for peace and righteousness, and second in defending a country against internal and external attacks. It is possible to take up and discuss any part of the various form of state legislation looking to the amelioration of economic environments and conditions. A large number of laws has been enacted by some of the states in an endeavor to better industrial conditions, such as sanitation laws, with special reference to factories where many employees are to be found, minimum wage laws, and acts regulating the employment of children and hours of labor and giving of pensions. Other functions inherent in a government consist in the reclamation of wastelands and the conservation of natural resources, the promotion of public works, as for example the Panama Canal, demands at least a passing mention, as the latter engineering first comes under the head of the time-saving devices we have in summing up the functions of a government classed theoretically or essentially under the entire 15 heads. Other governmental questions such as socialism, single tax, fiscal valuation, and conservation will be discussed in the succeeding chapters. Okay. Okay. So we are going to the next chapter. We want to create wealth. So we are trying to look for information on how to create wealth. We fill our head with information and we see what we can do. So where were we? Okay, so here we are, inventions and discoveries. The inventors, discoverers, and investigators of various kinds who reveal and coordinate the forces and secrets of nature have given the worlds of the industrial world a tremendous impetus within the past century. While there has been great discoveries in all lines of human endeavor, nevertheless, the 9th century will be known above all else as the era in which electricity harnessed and developed commercially to a point undreamed of by the wildest vision. The story of Aladdin, who with the aid of a lamp and a kindly genie could hear voices thousands of miles away and would annihilate time and space, has been paralleled in everyday life and half has not yet been told. Neither will it be forgotten that the century also saw the development of application of steam to commercial and industrial life, and furthered by calling to its aid shell-resisting steel and armor-piercing explosive naval warfare has been revolutionized, and it must be admitted, speaking economically or uneconomically, that this piling of ulcer of resistance upon collision of attack makes business gestures for producers of these weapons of war. These are innumerable varieties of inventions and discoveries. Some of these can be patented, but a large number are not patented. The patent laws of the United States permit anyone who has invented or discovered a new or useful art, machine, manufacture or composition of matter, or any new and useful improvement thereof not known or used by others in this country, to protect such inventions or discoveries with patent rights. It will be seen that patents apply to processes and material things, with the term invention or discovery, properly speaking, may be applied to new and better ways of doing things. Successful businessman discovers continually many new and better methods of carrying on his business, which are economically very valuable, but which are not patentable. The abstract forms, but which are not the abstract forms of inventive expression will be treated more exhaustively under the head of entrepreneurs. In a work of this kind, it is not practicable to go into thorough study of inventions and discoveries, or to prevent a catalogue of even a minor part of them. It will suffice to name a few of the most important, and to determine in what manner they affect economic life. It will be considered without argument that they influence industrial activities in all of the 15 ways under which a general classification of expression forms has been made. The Scientific American recently published the results of an invention contest in answer to the question, what are the 10 greatest inventions of our time? The prize winner, Mr. William I. A patent may not be obtained for a principle, idea, law of nature, natural force, scientific truth, federal status. Webman named of the following, with dates of their successful commercial introduction: electric furnace, steam turbine, gasoline automobile, moving pictures, wireless telegraphy, aeroplane, Carnegie process, linotype machine, induction motor, electric welding. Other contestants named the manufacture of acetylene gas from carbide calculating machines, Tabank's discoveries, color photography, concrete reinforced dictography, diesel engine, dirigible electric car, fixation of nitrogen, flexible photofilms, high-speed steel, incandescent electric light, internal combustion engine, liquid air, mercury vapor lamps, monorail, pastoral principles, phonography, photo engraving, pneumatic tire, radical submarine boats, electric transmission and transforming alternating currents, tungsten lamp, wealth banner, wireless telephone, X-ray machine. The Scientific American also published a description of an electric hotel planned for Paris by M. Georgia. Now, the inventor of electric house. In this hotel, all of the apparatus required for the service of the restaurant and beds is arranged so conveniently that the operator can promptly supply the needs of any guest by pressing a few electric buttons. With the electric system, which is centralized in the basement, only 10 seconds are required to carry breakfast or to the morning nail, makeup to guests or any floor. When a guest awakes in the morning, his first desire is to know what time it is. Without rising, he touches a button at his bedside and immediately the time appears on a large luminous dial projected on the ceiling. If it is time to begin the new day, another button is pressed and a voice issuing from an electric chandelier asks what is wanted. The guest will still laying in the bed calls out, open the curtains and shutters, let in the air. It is too warm. Send me a cup of coffee and my letters. These orders are promptly obeyed. The curtains and shutters are opened and flood the room with light. The top of the chiffonier plus beside the bed turns and extends itself over the bed to form a convenient table. The breakfast and letters appear on the chiffonier, and in less than a minute, all of the guests' desires are satisfied. The restaurant of the hotel is served in the same manner. Each small table for 2 or 4 persons is provided with a dictograph, which is placed in the lampshade. You touch a button, and a voice from the lampshade asks you what you wish. You give your order without putting your mouth to a telephone. A silvered platter in the center of the table shrinks and presently reappears, laden with the food you ordered. As soon as you have helped yourself, the platter again sinks and within 20 seconds returns with the dishes ordered by your companion. The plates are changed in a very practicable manner by means of little dumb waiters with shelves. By the use of these ingenious contrivances, on one waiter located in the basement can quickly serve 40 guests. Returning to 10 greatest inventions named by Mr. Wyman, the prize winner, will quote his analysis of the wonders. The electric furnace, through the generation of a heat so intense as to simulate one of the primal forces of nature, has produced for the first time many absolutely or commercial new products. It can make artificial diamonds and other gems. It is the only means for commercially producing a carborundum, the hardest of the manufactured substances, calcium carbide, the source of valuable illuminate and nitrogenous fertilizer, and artificial graphite, which is finding extended use in the arts, and it is covered aluminium from merely precious to a very useful metal and reduced its price from $12 a pound to less than 25 cents. It is responsible for all methods of fixing nitrogen, which, in view of the approaching exhaustion of the natural gas supply of child nitrate obviates a possible nitrogen famine, and alone makes this agency of inestimable service to mankind. The electric furnace is radically transforming the steel industry. It produces steel of crucible quality with almost open-hearted economic, and for the first time since 1740, expensive and intricate crucible process find a competitor in providing rails and heavy service steel of crucible characteristics in texture and toughness at slight increase of cost over the comparative impure and unreliable older products. A revolution of astounding proportions is going on before our very eyes. The greatest agency in the service of man is the steam engine. No other device has been so studied, improved, and so refined, but its usefulness reached its limit when it failed to satisfy the enormous grid for power demanded in electrical generation and ship propulsion. The steam turbine solved the problem, and the reciprocating engine, which has borne the brunt of the world's work during the century primary, has all but been eliminated in these two fast fields. The turbine has affected striking economies in steam consumption, attendance, and installation. If it has abolished pounding and vibrating, eliminated cumbersome and expensive foundations, reduced the space occupied from 1 to 2/3, and made it advisable and economical to send efficient but other types of equipment to the scalp head. 6 million horsepower were employed in turbine-driven ships in 1910, and the like amount is used in the turbine generators in this country alone. The days of the reciprocating engine are almost numbered. The electric motor is driving it out of the factory, and the generation of electricity requires turbine installation. Such is the vast extent of the revolution now being affected in our basic engineering art by the steam turbine, invented by Parsons and in 1884, but not recognized as commercially practicable proposition until 10 years later. The inventions of this period, which have worked the most rapid alteration in the intimate affairs of life, are the gasoline, automobile, and moving picture. The auto, in the short space of time, has developed from a mere experiment to the making of one of our largest industries, has caused the creation of thousands of miles of improved highways, has almost abolished horses in the cities, has caused to a marked extent to the manner of living of an appreciable portion of our people, and has directly induced expensive and radical improvements in and created dozens of collateral arts. Superficially, the auto appears to be the sum of a series of engineering developments in great inspiration achievements were wanting, but no fact is plainer than its introduction was neither casual nor fortuitous. The world history of century endeavors to provide a practical self-propelled car proves that the success of any type that at any once answered the requirements would be immediate. Such success did come with the Yamamoto and not before. The distinctive features of this motor were lightness and speed, but these were precisely the factors that differentiated it from its predecessors. Predecessors, okay, and that peculiarly adapted this engine for its specially designed purpose. The moving picture has transformed the amusement of the multitude and promises a future so enormous that only this present shift development can give a faintest indication of it, offering the first serious check that a theater has suffered since Shakespeare's time. Its ramifications are becoming more varied and extended. As a factor in education, science, trade, and recording current history, it has seen its beginning only, and in its application to the amusement in its highest form, we already have a promise of a large and brilliant future. The kinetoscope of Edison was the first commercial appliance to show pictures in natural movement, although he owed much to the Eastman film and prior investigations. As with the automobile and aeroplanes, great credit must be given to Fred promoters for the first showing its possibility on a large scale. Next to philosophers, stone and perpetual motion has man's attempt to fly been the object of most persistent pursuit. No other problem in the real moving version has caused such heartbreaking discouragement or called for such sacrifice of life. In spite of authority, however, the quest of the flying machine was not chimerical, although it seems but yesterday since success kept the efforts of the Wright brothers. Although airplane is radically transforming military tactics and as an engine of war cannot be ignored, it presents the least commercial utility of all inventions considered, because it is in many respects the most radical innovation in the whole history of locomotion, and because the perfection of this device opens up possibilities dissolving to contemplate present utility must be ignored. In praising this striking accomplishment, it's only necessary to imagine a condition where frontiers are eliminated, valuable rights of way, unessential and fortresses and battleships important, to realize the overwhelming revolution which will come with the perfecting of air navigation, an outcome by no means beyond the limitations of possibility. Since the above was written, the announcement has been made that Wright has invented a stabilizer which renders the aeroplane comparatively safe of all proof. Though the aeroplane is the most spectacular achievement of this age, wireless telegraphy appeals most to our imagination and dramatic sense. It is important. Its importance and significance and significance, however, in direct proportion to the hold it has on our interest. The scheme of transmitting intelligence was never complete so long as ships at sea and remotely situated stations could not be communicated with. Wireless supplied this missing link and Yeah. I think let's finish up this and we say goodbye. Significance, however, in direct proportion to hold it has our interest. Wait a minute. This guy's here, man. What are you doing? I have to be going, I think. What? Tenants have significance, however, are in direct proportion to the whole it has our interest. The scheme of transmuting intelligence was never complete so long as ships at the sea and remotely situated stations could not be communicated with. Wireless satellite is missing link and made intercommunication as an universal as the world is wide. In the short 15 years since its introduction, the Marconi wireless apparatus has been part of the equipment of every modern seagoing. So I think I have to be going, man. I have to be going. I didn't even give us that. I don't know where I came today. Stop coming this side, man. You just you just you just I should just stop coming this side. I should just I should just should just should just she just stop coming this side. She just stop coming this side. Yeah, just you just she just stop coming this side. She just stop coming this side. should just openly say, should just openly say, should just openly say, you should just stop coming this side. You should just I should just go. I should just stop coming this side. You just stop coming this side. I should just stop coming this side. You just stop coming this side. You just stop. You just stop. You just stop coming this side. 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 You just coming this side. Coming this side. This side. This side. Coming this side. Coming this side. I want to get a blast like a like like yes, I like a man. Get alive 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 like a man. Get alive. Get alive like a man. Get alive. Get alive like a man. Get alive like a man. Get alive like get alive like get alive like Oh, what? See you. Bye bye. 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 See you. Oh. Bye bye. See you. Bye bye, 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 see you. Bye I'm still around, I wish I have something. 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 Let's go.